Tony D and Little Joan, and this is a screenwriter's rant on the Marvels from Marvel Studios Phase 5. Are you ready? Are you psyched? Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 11. Available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. Monica Rambeau. She was Captain Marvel in the 80s. See, the original Captain Marvel was a guy, and he died saving the universe. His power killed him. And that was a great character. Monica Rambeau took on the mantle of Captain Marvel. Why the woke tards at Marvel didn't go, oh, we should totally bring back that character. She's black and she's a woman. I don't know. They've kind of brought her back, but they could have brought her back as Captain Marvel because she was Captain Marvel. Would have been great. Instead, they sort of astroturfed Carol Danvers back into the mix. Here's what's happened. I'll get into this in a minute. Hold on. Carol Danvers. I'm trying to do my visuals, and now the dog's barking. What are you barking about, doggy? Yeah, I know. I hate Marvel, too. Here, come over here. I know. You want to leave already. Well, you got to stay for the video. So Carol Danvers, who was she? Well, she originally was Ms. Marvel. And in the comics, Ms. Marvel died in a battle with the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And during the battle, Rogue, who was a bad guy, absorbed Ms. Marvel's power, and one of those powers was she could fly, and she plummeted to her death. And because she died, Rogue's powers are such that she not only absorbs your powers, but she gets your memories and thoughts and all that. Well, when Carol Danvers died, it kind of messed up Rogue. And after that, after going crazy, sometime later, all right, Joe, get lost. She became a good guy. And a very popular good guy. And that's the sort of convoluted origin stories of some of the Marvel characters, because Marvel's been around a while. More recently, in the 2000s, they decided they were going to bring back Carol Danvers, because no one stays dead in Marvel comics, or in any comics. Why? Well, I think it's because Marvel already owned the IP of Carol Danvers. If they had gone to, I don't know, someone like me, to say, create us a new Captain Marvel, they would have had to pay me all sorts of royalties. They wouldn't have owned the character outright under the current rules. I'm pretty sure they own Carol Danvers outright. So this is something comic book companies have been doing in recent years. They reuse their IPs over and over again because it's cheaper. It's more cost efficient. They don't have to pay out as many royalties if you own the character outright. So they bring back Carol Danvers, and immediately she is not popular, because at that time was the new woke tards who now run Marvel Comics into the ground, and no one liked her. No one liked her. She was a bossy girl boss, feminist icon. They kept canceling her comic and bringing her back, giving her butch haircuts. It was awful. Still awful. Still terrible. But it just happened to coincide with the MCU's big payday Endgame. And so what they did was they developed a movie around an A-lister named Brie Larson in order to get Captain Marvel into the mix. Now, they could have gotten an A-lister for Monica Rambeau. And that A-lister would have been, trying to get, there she is, Monica Rambeau. That A-lister probably would have been Viola Davis. I don't know if Viola Davis was on the A-list quite back then, but she would have been perfect for the role. Not only is she a good actress, she's kind of just about the right age, a little long in the tooth, but, I mean, she geared up and got all jacked for a Woman King. I assume she could get all jacked up for a Marvel movie. I think she would have been fine in it. And this actress, there's nothing wrong with her, but, you know, the Hollywood studio system is still in the mode of, well, we need celebrities. We need big names for big movies, even though celebrities kind of dying on the vine. So they did that instead. The end result was they did make $1 billion with Captain Marvel. But why did they make $1 billion? Yeah, it really was. Oh, you have to see Captain Marvel and understand Endgame. And for that, amount of cred that the MCU had at that time, people were willing to do that. I was willing to do that, even though I knew the character was terrible, and I pretty much resigned myself that the movie wasn't going to be any good, and it wasn't really that good. First act's okay, pretty decent actually, and then it just goes right downhill from there, and then it gets pretty bad. And you don't want to end on a low note. You want to end on a high note. But it didn't matter because the real high note ending was Endgame. And even in Endgame, Captain Marvel didn't seem too bad. In fact, I think they probably would have been better off introducing Captain Marvel in Endgame. I don't know if they could have made that work, but I think so. Then they had the female Avengers lineup. This is kind of like prototype of female Avengers, which they in Hollywood would love to do. But the question is, who is this movie for, right? And what the hell is it about? Well, they say this is a teaser trailer, but it's 1:56. Anything around 2 minutes is basically the trailer. They have more than enough time to explain this damn movie. So, and there's Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, another character that's never been very popular. Out of the three of them, I would say Monica Rambeau back in the 80s would have had the edge. But because she's been out of the mix so long, really all three characters are kind of pointless to bring back. Kind of absolutely pointless. Needed to bring them into the MCU a lot earlier. Then maybe you would have had a shot. Maybe if you had built them up the correct way. So you got three characters that probably can't sustain a movie on their own, so they put them all together in one movie. Kamala Khan is another character they launched in the comics. This one is, the rumor is, a self-insert by one of the Marvel execs. The Marvel exec that Joe Quesada handed the reins of power to and said, "Oh, you're gonna change Marvel. You're gonna change comic books." Phew. Yeah, she certainly did. Tried to change them for girls and woke morons. How's that going? Not too great. Oh, the teachers love it. The librarians love it. Oh, I've got comic books for you kids. Yeah, but the kids don't like it. And neither do the fans. Now, you could dismiss the older fans and say, they're a bunch of old guys. They're living in the past, whatever. But you can't dismiss the new potential male fans. They're out. I've been to comic book conventions. You're not seeing a lot of young men at comic book conventions. You're seeing the same people you always see, tend to be older guys. Not older than me, but, I'll say 40s to 60s, still collecting their past. You see their kids. Sometimes you see a handful of girls, because this has been marketed over and over again. Oh, yeah, you got to get this for your girls. Your daughters will love it. And some of them do. A handful do. It's not really something girls are into. The girl audience typically likes dolls. They like dresses. They like costumes. And you might say, oh, that's just sexist. Why would you say that? Well, what the hell did the Marvel girls, the ladies of Marvel, do when they took over Marvel? They did a crossover event with the X-Men where they went to a gala, a ball. They did that twice. And they dressed up in different costumes. Oh, it was so nice. Yeah, that's what girls like. Guys don't care about that. They could give an F about clothes. Most of them. I think most guys, if we had a society of men, I think we'd probably mostly walk around naked all the time. It's a little cold. I better wear something. Yeah, women like clothes. Women like shoes. Women like relationships. And they like them in their movies. So, what does this movie try to do? Well, it tries to make superheroes a thing for girls. Does it succeed? Not in my book. Here's the stupid cat character they introduced. The one that scratched Nick Fury and took his eye, which That's not the comic lore, by the way. It's just stupid. But here he is, and he kills these guys, and Kamala Khan goes, "Whoa!" There it is. What? First off, we've already introduced this character in a movie, Captain Marvel. He's not very interesting, in my view, but okay, you could say that's a thing. But ultimately, who is this movie aimed at? Well, I think they're trying to aim it at women. You know, the same sort of women who put in their dating profile, "Oh, I'm such a nerd. I watch Star Wars, and I watch the Marvel movies." That's not being a nerd. That's following a trend, which is another thing women tend to like to do. They like to follow the trends. They like to be cool and hip. They tend to be on the forefront of fashion. Again, clothes. Why do they do this? Well, they're very image conscious because a lot of them want to be in a relationship. Why are they in the comics at all? A lot of it is, well, I'm in the comics because my boyfriend's in the comics. My husband's in the comics. My sons like comics. So they make an effort because they like to support the people in their lives. They would do the same thing for their daughters if they happen to have a daughter, one of the oddballs that happens to like comics. Women tend to be supportive, but they also get sucked in the trends. The Marvel thing is a trend. And when it dies, none of these women will watch movies in Marvel. They already aren't buying the comics. I can tell you that. Go to a comic book convention. Count the women. You'll be able to count them on the fingers of one hand. Typically. Depending on the size of the con. Not a lot of women go to these things. They're just not fans. Comics don't revolve around relationships, clothes, going to brunch, the things that women like to do, going shopping. Now, that's been self-inserted with the current comics. And, oh, how are they selling? Oh, not too good. Because you can go to, I don't know, a ladies' shoe store. You're not going to see a rack of women comics. You're not going to see a rack of comics at the brunch place or any of the places women like to go to. I'll tell you one place they don't like to go, the comic book store, because it's a guy thing. It smells like dusty feet, and typically, and there's a guy eating Cheetos and talking about the Incredible Hulk lifted a mountain range one time in Secret Wars. I remember that. That was cool. That's not something women like. Consequently, they're not into the MCU other than they want to be part of the trend. They want to support their boyfriends. And you can yell at me all you want and say, "That's not true. I'm such a fan." You're an aberration. It's okay to be an aberration in fandom. I'm an aberration. I only like certain things. Everybody has their own thing. Now, me, I'm a little nuttier, but you know, there are plenty of women who are in the fan community, but why are they in it? A lot of them got in it because their boyfriends were in it, or that's where their friends live. And the whole nerd chic thing has become a thing, but it's on the verge of dying because the true nerds are stomping around saying, "No, F you people." The true nerds are the ones who battle the guys of the Rings of Power on Nerdrotic and Friday Night Tights and the guys who watch Doomcock and all that kind of stuff. That's where the true nerds are. The new nerds, no. They're the people who got into Star Wars for 10 minutes back in the early 80s and then said, "Oh, I'm a Star Wars. That's pretty cool. I'm a kind of a Trekkie, too. I've watched 3 shows of Star Trek." No, you're not into sci-fi. You just... That was hot for a while, back in the late 70s and early 80s. Everybody was going to see Star Wars. It was a hot movie. But it didn't create many lifelong sci-fi fans. A few, but not a lot, because sci-fi doesn't have that wide appeal. Comics don't have that wide appeal, or superhero comics, I'll say. This doesn't have a wide appeal. The appeal it had was with men. And you've done everything in your power, Marvel, to say, "Oh, men, meh, meh." Right? You got frowny Brie Larson, the woman who starred in the last movie that everybody complained about, by the way. You're on this great role in the MCU leading up to Endgame, and then you put out that movie. Everybody complained about the scene, the motorcycle scene, where Brie Larson, oh, I'm going to use my powers. I'm gonna bully this man pig. I'll show him the toxic males. Oh, women, they're great. Okay, let's see how great they are with this movie you delayed twice. Pushed it back into November, where it'll probably die. Yeah, you might say bring your daughter to this movie because there's a young woman who's playing one of the superheroes, and Kamala Khan was on Disney Plus, and you may have Disney Plus, and your young daughter may have watched it, and you might say, "Oh, she wants to go see this movie." The angle of it being a family movie could help it, but we haven't seen anything other than this trailer yet, and what I see in this trailer isn't so great. So, what's the plot of the movie? Well, the plot of the movie is every time Kamala Khan or Monica Rambeau, not Nick Fury, Monica Rambeau or Brie Larson use their magic powers, or space powers, whatever you call them, they switch places. And that's the focus of this trailer. That's not a story. That's a thing that happened in a story. It's not really the story. The story would be, and I would be hard pressed to stop on the moment. There's an evil villain that's about to destroy the universe. I don't think I could find the still. It's so brief what they show. It's Brie Larson trying to be funny. It's so brief what they show in the trailer. They almost probably shouldn't have shown it. Here's something to show. She looks good. And of course, they gender swap the villain, so it's all women fighting each other. That's what women want to see. No, they do not. They want to see who's dating who. They want to see nice costumes. They want to see Downington Abbey. That's a women's show. Oh, women they love them some Downington Abbey. Oh, it's got everything for them. It's got tea parties, costumes, relationships, intrigue. Ooh. This? Look, you have the trappings of a superhero movie, but if you're going to spend the whole movie trying to hammer in all the stuff I just described, it's going to be an absolute disaster. Because it's going to be like, oh, we're going to get on a sci-fi adventure, and then everybody sits around and go, oh, who are you seeing, Tom? I never liked Tom. It's not what these movies should be. Now, there's been a lot of reshoots, so looks like they're trying to lighten it up. That'll help a little, but the sense of humor of the MCU guys is terrible. They don't know comedy at all. Comedy, as I've always said, requires a shared experience. You guys keep rewriting superheroes. You guys keep rewriting femininity and masculinity. If you're not on board with the idea of toxic masculinity and girl bosses they rule and the force is female, well, the jokes are going to land flat for most people. Because they're just going to go, oh, that's what? It's not funny that they're switching places with their superpowers. That's not funny. It'll cause a couple of ripples, and we already know it going into the damn movie. So why even bother to put it in the trailer? The point of the movie should be they're saving the universe or the galaxy or Earth or whatever. That's barely in the trailer here. Now, okay, it's a teaser trailer. But they spend a lot of time telling you, oh, they're swapping places. That's nothing. The focus of this should be that they're saving the universe. It's not a small thing to save the universe. It's a big thing. It should be the thing in a story like this. That should overpower everything. Instead, it's about them going, whoa, I'm in a different place. I have superpowers. Whoa, who cares? None of that matters as compared to the universe might be destroyed or the Earth might be conquered by an alien race. A new character we haven't seen before, by the way. I don't think we've seen her before. Might have shown up on D plus at some point. Who cares? Another problem too. You had to have Disney Plus to understand half this movie. Monica Rambeau didn't make a lot of appearances outside D plus. She was in WandaVision for some reason. Kamala Khan's the character had her own series on D plus. If you had to put this stuff on regular TV and everybody at least had access to it, right now people would be scrambling. Oh, I should go back and watch that Ms. Marvel. You know, if they had any interest in this movie, I should probably go back and watch that stuff. If Disney had any sense, they'd put it all on TV. Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan to promote this movie. Because if they liked Ms. Marvel as a series, and the series wasn't a complete dumpster fire, I guess. I don't know, it didn't look great to me. You might get a few people saying, oh, well, I'll go see the movie now. Instead, you got it on a streaming thing that you got to pay for. And then you got to pay for the movie. Why bother? Why even bother going to the movies? This is going to be on D plus eventually. If it does poorly in the theaters, they'll put it on D plus sooner. So you're, in a way, incentivizing people not to go see it. Oh, you know, if this thing doesn't do well, it'll be on D plus eventually. Maybe it'll be on D plus for Christmas. I don't know. By Christmas time. Ugh, that'll be a disaster. So this comes out on November 10th. Well, it says November. I thought it said the 10th. No, November. So I don't know. Early November, late November, whatever. So it's supposed to be a Christmas movie. It has no Christmas in it. I don't know who this movie is for. The select amount of girl bosses that love this kind of stuff. I don't think your average woman is dying. Oh, I gotta go see the Marvels, honey. Let's all go see the Marvels. No, that would have been a guy thing. And a guy version of this movie would have been probably much different, right? First off, they wouldn't have bothered to gender swap the villain. They would have made him a guy. Secondly, there'd be a lot more of this shot in the movie. You know what I'm talking about. And Brie Larson wouldn't be such a mopey jerk. Trying to wave her boobs in our face, trying to get us to watch her stupid movies. No, she would have been much nicer, as she should have been to the fans right out the gate. But Hollywood's got it in their heads. Oh, we're going to show the boys how it's done. How's that working out, Disney? How's the, what was it, an $83 billion loss in value? I don't know. I assume they gained some of that back. This, you know, you don't even know what you're doing. You put these three characters in a movie. Where's Spider-Man? Where's Wolverine? Where's the Hulk? Where's anybody that people in comics care about? Oh, you care about these. Just because you made a character and put them in a comic doesn't mean they have a fan following. And when you've astroturfed the fan following, as they've done with Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, then you're really just deluding yourself. Oh, they're fan favorites. Oh, why'd you cancel both comics multiple times and then have to bring them back? That boosts the sales because everybody wants the #1 issue. Monica Rambeau, does she even have a comic? I think she did. I think they relaunched a Photon #1. I think she's calling herself Photon or whatever. Haven't heard word one about it. I assume it, #1, people bought it just in case it was hot, and then boom, right down the toilet, because who's writing this stuff? Do they have good writers? I wouldn't say. They're emphasizing the wrong thing. They're switching places. Who cares? They're supposed to be saving the universe. That's not supposed to be a boring thing. That's supposed to be a, oh crap, we're all going to die unless these guys get it together. Even in the trailer, they don't look like they're, you know, they look like they're screwing around, just sitting around, more worried about, like, Kamala Khan wants them to be a team because she's so enamored with being a superhero, and the other two are like, oh, we're not a team. Yeah, this is embarrassing. Let's just save the universe and go our own ways. Like, what kind of attitude is that when you have to save the universe? It should be like, sure, we're a team. Listen, we got to save the universe. That should be the attitude. The attitude should be, we don't have time for this. We have to save the universe. Or galaxy or Earth or whatever. It should be important. It's not. And this is just 2 minutes of the footage. You know, and then you got Nick Fury walking around there. And you got the cat. So, if this was going to be a comedy movie, that would be different. It's not a comedy movie. If you're going to make it a comedy, you would make it wacky. You would make it like 3 idiots save the universe. Oh, they're not going to make them idiots. They'll probably make stupid moves, but in the end they save the day, and in the whole movie people will be saying, oh, you're so important, you're so important. That's not the way to do it. If you're going to make a comedy, you could make this work as a comedy. 3 women who gain superpowers, but they're not very good at using them, and they have to come together to save the universe. That could work. But no, they want it all. They want to be the most competent, the most powerful, the most girl bossy. And everybody's going to love these characters because everybody loves them in the movie. Therefore, that's not the way it works. Everybody hates Spider-Man in New York. Well, certain people hate him and certain people love him. And that's part of the dynamic of the character. J. Jonah Jameson hates Spider-Man and, you know, goes on and on about him. And there's a lot of people who agree with him. He makes his life a hell. But the average person who's been saved by Spider-Man, who knows Spider-Man's like, no, he's a great guy. He's wrong. And that dynamic helps the character. You know, you're not being told over and over again, oh, love Spider-Man. Everybody loves Spider-Man. Because he has a really terrible life. Peter Parker has it rough. Captain Marvel have it rough? No. Everybody loves her. She's the most powerful person in the universe, and she's great, and everybody loves her, and she's so competent. Oh, Monica Rambeau, she's great. She's so competent. Ms. Marvel, she's great. She'll be competent very, very soon. You can't handle the characters that way. That's not the way to handle them. Everybody should be against them so they overcome some obstacles. I mean, if you want to do the patriarchy BS, sure, do that then. Make every man against them. Oh, I'm against this Captain Marvel. She's an alien, and we've got to put her in jail. Like one of those guys. That could help your situation, and then you could maybe subtly mention patriarchy if you had to. You could have an alien that wants to kill them all because he hates them. Or he wants to steal their power, or whatever. Instead, it looks like, I don't know, it looks like you have a musical number, and that right there, it's going to be awful. That's going to be just people leaving the theater in the middle of that. What? I'm pretty sure the musical number's in there. Did you make this a musical? That would be insane. But I could see it happening. I mean, they're making the Joker a musical. That could be the thing, like, oh, the Joker 2 is going to be a musical? That first movie made $1 billion. Let's do that. I think that'll be terrible. I think the wackiness will be terrible. So, you know, Brie Larson can't carry a movie, in my view. She didn't carry the first one. That wasn't her. Part of that was Samuel L. Jackson. He can carry a movie. Snakes on a Plane, he dragged that movie to the finish line. He got me to say it. You can wave her boobs in front of me all you want. I'm not paying $14 to see this dumpster fire. And that's it for me, Tony D, and little Joan, somewhere off in my house, probably peeing on something. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more base takes. If you can find a more base take than that, take it. Also, check out Yellow Flash today. He had a good take on this and how cheap the costumes and the sets look. It's another factor, which I won't even bother because my first take of this was like 40 minutes. I got to do a Hollywoke hot take. We'll see you. Oh, wait a minute. Down. We'll see you in the next one.